Hey Laurie, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your address position and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your address position, let's take a look at your posture. So your spine's straight and on a nice tilt. Looks great. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. You do hold your arms too far out in front of you and create a little bit too much of a straight looking line with your arms and your club from this vantage point. So all we really want to do with your posture is get your arms to hang down so your hands are closer to your thighs by almost 50%. Then let the club work out to the ball, and that's going to put you definitely closer to your golf ball. Okay? So keep your spine exactly where it is, keep your legs exactly where they are, and that would be a nice refinement in your posture where you're not holding your arms and hands way out in front of you. Okay? So because of this, that's going to change your address plane. So I just want to take note that your address plane should probably be situated at about 40 degrees. Okay? And obviously more inside of the golf ball because we'd be closer to it. So let's clear this off the screen. We can also take a look at your alignment, which looks good. See your feet running here. Carry that out towards the intended target. Now theoretically your club face is supposed to run parallel. Your feet parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge, and under that scenario we can see you're sort of set up down the left center of the fairway, so no real issues there. Let's do a little split screen comparison between you and Chella Choi. I've got some color-coded lines up on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. And before we go ahead and take a look at the swing, just notice how her arms are hanging closer to her, so her hands are definitely closer. So what I want to do here is we said 40 degrees and the club would be slightly inside. So actually I don't want to have an arrow, so let me turn that into a straight line. And let's draw that up to 40 degrees. Okay, so I want this here just because I want you to understand that even though you're reaching and you're out of position with your arms and you're too far away from the ball, the golf club should really be following more of this second red line that I put on the screen. Okay, and we're going to just sort of ignore line 1. So let's take a look at some things that are supposed to happen. Right, we draw the golf club back. Want to turn our shoulders, want to bring our arms and our hands back as well as the golf club. In doing so, we want the club to travel back directly along the red line. That means the club is coming back on a proper swing plane. Also in the early stages of the golf swing, we want to incorporate wrist hinge into play, whereby we're going to transition the club head currently from below and in front of our hands to getting that club head above and behind our hands. Really important move right there. And then working the club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When we finally set the club at the top, we're looking to have the left arm of the golf club pretty much on the yellow line, full shoulder rotation, and we want to do this about a very stable right leg. So with your backswing here, we're going to watch your hands, arms, club come a little bit underneath the original red line 1. It's actually coming underneath line 2 as well, so you are swinging the golf club back a little bit inside. A lot of that has to do with the fact that you're bringing the club back with shoulder turn, hands and arms, but we're not really incorporating wrist hinge, which takes the club up. So if you learn to create better wrist hinge right out of the gate, that club would be staying on a better plane. So again, very stiff-wristed, forearmed with the club. Club's moving inside, but not moving above the hands just yet. As we keep going here, hopefully we get some wrist hinge into play here shortly. So still very stiff-wristed with the golf club. Yet again, still very stiff-wristed. So definitely one of the things you want to learn to achieve in your golf swing is wrist hinge. Wrist hinge does 2 things for you. One, in your backswing, it will create more club travel. And 2, it'll store more energy, so therefore on the way through, it's going to give you club head speed and will allow you to learn the swing, the mass of the club, instead of just you hitting the ball with your turn and your weight transfer. So as we get to the top of your backswing, we can see here still very stiff-wristed with the golf club. Arms, things might break down here with you're starting to get a little bit of wrist hinge there. Because I think your subconscious brain realizes, hey, I still got to get the club back further, but your arms really can't go anywhere else without sort of compressing against your body too much. So your arms definitely swing too far in behind you because your subconscious brain is still telling you, hey, I got to get this club back further. So like I said, if you learn to create proper wrist hinge coming back, you can actually reduce your arm travel because you'll create club travel via the wrist hinge. And then you'll also store more power. Okay? So at this point in time, you can see your left arm, it's laying across your sternum too much. It needs to be up towards the yellow line a little bit more. We do need to learn how to maintain better arm extension, but due to the fact that you haven't created wrist hinge, you're still trying to get the club back far, and you're doing that by compressing your arms into your core. Okay? You've turned well, stable right side, you've maintained your posture axis. I mean, everything looks beautiful. Let's get the arms a little bit more upright with a little bit more extension and more wrist hinge, and everything's perfect right here. Okay? Now, as we start our downswing, we simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left. We want to fire our knees and our hips to the target, unwind the core, and fire the hands. And in doing so, we have to bring the club from yellow back down onto red. And at this point in time, we can see with Chela Choi, that's exactly what's happened. The other thing I want to look at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead forearm and the golf club. And I refer to this as the backwards check mark. This simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind her hands, coming into the hitting zone. This is what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in our golf swing. Let alone, she's also going to have the ability to hit the ball straight due to the fact that the club has returned back to plane. Now, I want to point one other thing out for you that we've already discussed, but I want to reiterate it just because it's so important for you. If we go back down to address, we talked about the club head currently is below and in front of our hands. One of the things we need to do when we bring the club back is we have to learn to create good wrist hinge. Well, we noticed with you that that's the only thing you really need to do with your backswing other than get it a little bit more upright. So let's watch the wrist hinge here, just so you can get a good visual of how those wrists cock. Okay? So this hinging motion right here is taking that club head from below and in front to above and behind. So again, very important move. This is something you're not doing. And this is why your club goes inside and underneath the swing plane, because we're not bringing the club up via wrist hinge. Now I want you to notice as she does this, guess what we have? Oh, we got the exact same backwards check mark. That's how important this is, because now she's going to go up to yellow, she's going to come back into the ball, and she's going to return right back in to that backwards check mark. This is the single most important aspect of a golf swing that allows us power, because we're retaining angle, we have hinge. It's like a pitcher throwing a ball. Imagine a pitcher taking an arm back, not cocking his wrist and throwing a ball. It'd be like shot putting. We got to take the arm back, cock the wrist. That way at the last second, we got something to snap through. It's the same in golf. We got to create wrist hinge so we can create this snap and speed through the ball. Okay? So with you as you create your transition back in the ball, I got a feeling you're going to come in the ball really well. I actually have a feeling you're going to come underneath your plane. Now, you're not going to come underneath your plane on line 1. I bet you actually come underneath your plane on line 2. So let's watch your transition back into the ball here. Drop your hands and arms superbly. Very, very nice. Actually, to come over the top, maybe a hair there, but you can afford it because you're in a shallow position. Okay, so we've returned to line 1. It's going to fall underneath that for sure. So there we go. And I don't know if we're going to be able to go to the next frame. No, we're not going to be able to. So at this point in time, we can take a look at your lead forearm, and we can take a look at your club. And what do we got? Yeah, we got your backwards check mark. So creating power in your golf swing is not going to be an issue. The only thing is, if you had created more wrist hinge going back, you'd be retaining more angle coming into the ball, and you're going to create that much more power. That's why that wrist hinge is so critical. At this point in time, I also want to take a look at your club head. The great thing is, it's returning so close to plane right now. That's perfect. So you, as long as this club falls down onto line red 2 in the next frame and continues to track into the ball from line red 2, you should be able to hit a straight golf shot based on your alignment. And we already pointed out your alignment was pretty good. It was left center. So you should be able to hit a straight shot based on that alignment as long as the club face squares up. So let's go to the next frame. Let's see where it hits. Perfect. There you are. You're right on plane. Go to the next frame. Boom, right on plane. So if we just sort of connect the dots here, we can get a very good, sorry, this was just indicating that you're getting close to the red line. So if we connect the dots, we can see you hit the red line here, and you continue to track into the golf ball directly from on plane. Now remember, this is a line I superimposed on the screen. This is the line you had originally, but it would be if you improved your address position and weren't reaching so much with your hands and arms. Okay? So you're right on plane. You should be able to hit a straight shot in accordance to your alignment, assuming your club face squares up. So with Cella, we can see again club return to plane here. That would be your exact frame probably right here anyways. Excellent job. And her club tracks into the ball right from the red line. Actually, in her case, a hair underneath. Just like you. Okay? And it's not really an issue. I mean, the only thing that could happen here is we might block the ball a little right because of this if the club face doesn't square up. Okay? So we see very, very similar descending planes. So now all we have to make sure of, when you get to impact here, did your club face square up? Looks like it did a pretty good job there. Let's go through. We'll have a better, good look. It looks like it stayed a little open. But the club face looks like it's closing. So this is what we can't precisely tell. I mean, because your club attacked from just underneath the plane, you can obviously block the ball a little right of where you're aiming. We do see the ball headed out in this direction. But golf shots always, for a right-handed player, will have an appearance to go a little bit more right of the intended target, because a straight line along the ground looks as such. So what we have here is we have what I call as a refraction angle. Because the ball is leaving on a launch angle up, that refraction angle gives it an image that the ball has started to the right. In your case, the ball did start to the right though, and it looks like it's going to stay there because the club face unfortunately did not fully square up at impact. That could be a byproduct of your grip. Could be a byproduct of not understanding release through the golf ball. As you come through, you get yourself through to a really good finish. Overall, I mean, your golf swing looks really, really nice. Your hands work really well. They come back, they fire through. Your core works well. You coil, you uncoil. You've got great footwork allowing you to get through to a good finish. Your alignment's superb. Again, need to change that starting position with your posture so we're not reaching out at the golf ball. Drag those hands and arms closer to you. Increase the angle relationship between your arms and your golf club. That alone will help you create better wrist hinge because you'll be establishing an angle right from the beginning. From here, at that point in time, we got to learn how to bring the club back with proper wrist hinge. Very, very important. And get your arms a little bit more upright here. And then just keep on doing what you're doing. I mean, once we change that starting position with the hands and arms, learn how to create a little bit of wrist hinge, get your arms set a little bit more upright, then we can sort of digest where's your golf swing at that point and get in there and fine tune anything else. But nonetheless, I mean, with this motion here, you're still going to hit some fabulous shots. It just aesthetically, you'd look better at address if your arms were hanging better. Obviously, you're going to create way more speed if you create wrist hinge coming back. If you get your arms a little bit more upright, club won't fall underneath the plane so much because you're not starting from a shallow position. And from there, the rest of it looks good. Like I said, might have to just take a look at your grip and understand why did your club face not square up there. And if it's not because of your grip, then we just have to understand how to release the golf club through the ball. Okay? Anyways, at any point in time you ever want to work on any of these aspects of your golf game, I'm located over at Glen Abbey in Oakville. Be happy to structure a program for you. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to touch base. I'd be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, I hope you had a fabulous day, and I hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.